Ton ist drauf. Fang an.
Hello and welcome to our Equality Talk. I am very happy that we are part of the 7th edition of the Most Wanted Music Conference under the overall topic of togetherness. We from Music is Her Passion, we are dedicated to equality empowerment in music, because from gender balance to sustainability, there are many areas that we can become aware of. This Equality Talk is dedicated to various topics. We are going to talk about, of course, music, about film, about theater, and about art. And of course, its equality factor. Now it's time to immerse ourselves into the worlds of our guests who join us in thinking about what we can do to make our world more equal and diverse. And now we are going to start with a very, very close perspective from Berlin to Latin America's music and art world with my first guest. He is not only curating and organizing the one and only Latin American Film Festival here in Berlin, he is also bringing one of the best Latin American bands to not only Berlin, to the rest of Europe. Hello and heartily welcome,
Hello,
Martin.
Mia. Hello, Mia. Thank you for inviting me.
Good to have you here. How are you?
Fine, fine. Just passing by this emergency time, the corona time, but we have to do our part to be out of this as soon as possible.
And how was the situation for you? How did you have how did you deal with the pandemic basically?
Well, basically all this year we canceled everything. All the concerts we have organized with all the bands in Latin America, around 100 concerts. The 2 film festivals in Berlin also were canceled. In November also they just closed Berlin again, so all cinemas closed. So we have nothing to do. And we have to wait until all this pass, and we are not confident that until the next summer maybe, because it's not possible to make a concert with this 1.5 meter distance. Not possible.
And how is the situation compared to Berlin for all the bands that you are usually working with? How are they dealing with the pandemic in Latin America?
Well, with the bands I worked, some of them they make these streaming concerts. Molotov was the last week, but they were sponsored by a big firma, a beer firma. So in some way they have their money, but it's not the situation for all the bands, because there's small bands, and the streaming situation also is new for many people. I don't know if they have the computers in home or they are used to buy just a ticket to watch a concert online. But until I know, people have to invent themselves. So I'm very glad they are renovating themselves, but I hope this will be ends soon.
But is it like here in Latin America that culture and music is perceived as systemically relevant?
It is, of course, in the independent side, because as an institution, no. There's not many countries in Latin America, they don't have the Minister of Cultures. They don't have, like here, we have a very good institution for cinema, music, but there in Latin America is a utopic idea, work in progress. So there's no help for funds to rescue these bands, and so they are basically also waiting. So they are struggling themselves. I know many friends who are independent. They just go and produce, but they don't make money. So they have to reinvent themselves also. Some of friends, they are selling food. They become very good chefs right now, but we don't know what to do. So I cannot support or help them because I am on the other side, and my job is to bring them here to Europe, and in all Europe is closed also.
So there's no no financial support from the states.
This is a very utopic idea of Latin America. I mean, can you imagine Bolivia giving money or Argentina giving money to the artists? There's not even idea what is really how to support. They are basically cutting the funds when they make in Costa Rica the last month they are fighting because they want to cut the small money for culture. They want to cut to the 10% because they say they have more important things. People is like, yeah, sure, but also culture is part of the system. But so the political people don't understand basically what is culture. So you have every 5 years when they go into the system, you have to explain them what exactly is our function in the system. During the past 1,000 years, what we brought to basically to the system, to the society, but no, they are thinking basically very short. They are thinking, okay, I need to maybe cut this to give to the health system, but there's money for everything. But the corruption is so into the political system. Basically, they will not support. They will cut always money for culture.
Okay, so it's like you said before that they are like inventing themselves and doing whatever they can basically to survive.
You have to, because there's no other chance. We don't know what to do. I mean, also I have to reinvent myself here because no festivals, no concerts, and I come from theater too. I cannot make theater. I left this many years ago, and I can do nothing. So I have to wait until next year. I have some saves, but let's see what's going on.
Okay, and but what do you do like practically? Can you still be creative in times like these, or is there like a secret? What can other people maybe do to get inspiration to stay creative also if the perspective is not too good?
Basically, the 9 things of art come in when they were a struggle. Painters, the best painters come after big events, wars, dance, all the art basically is changing from time to time. From the normal blue time to the geometric time. So after the First World, Second World, it's always, this is a war too. And people is working, people is creating. I don't think so we are sitting, passing the life. Oh no, we have also family, children and so on. But in production time, I have to work for the next year. Improve all the institutions. Basically with the Putamari Club, we are going to work Europe. More in France, more in Italy, and in Spain. And with the festival, we want to work more also in Paris. But I know filmmakers are creating. They are writing their stories. They are creating their stories after the pandemic time, because also this is a unique time. I never thought in my life I was going to be like this. I was talking with my friend that all this mask thing. When I saw Blade Runner the first time, I said, "This is so far." But in that time I was 16, and then after 30 years, the friends not so much. I said, "Wow, it's the time." And I don't know. Maybe it will happen to my children in the next 20, 25 years because we don't know. Yeah, but what to reinvent ourselves? Yeah, creative people is creative people. We reinvent ourselves the whole time because this is the only way to survive from our own demons too, because I cannot live with my demons from the 50s to 20s or the 30s when I am 50 right now. We have other kind of speeches and talks. So, and also you see that in the music, you see that in the cinema, in the art. So you see if you follow artists, you always see their path. So that was his 20s, maybe that was her 40s, and that's her 60s. I think it's amazing how they change the language from time to time.
Okay, that's cool. That's a good approach to see it like this. And yeah, as you know, we're having our equality talk right now, and that's also why I want to know how equally do you perceive the music world here and there, and are there like any differences concerning the equality factor of the different music scenes?
Yeah, equality is a very big word at this time, because from the genre time, from the race times too, because in some way I see my friends, I respect all the movements are happening right now, but it's different when my white friend is doing this and the indigenous friends have the other speech, and they always will have the last speech, and also my black friends will have the last speech. So equality is a big word that is still reconcepting. Because, in music, yeah, everybody can create. Everybody have the freedom to create in the most difficult circumstance, in the most easy circumstance. Depends where you come from. In art and cinema too. When equality, it's sometimes when I know the people told me why you don't have so much women and in your creating program. When I told them, yes, I always.
They ask you why you have so many women?
No, why you don't have so many
you
women?
don't have. Okay.
So I said, yeah, but I care about it. It's my first perspective also, but I am taking more about what is the whole film or product. It's not. I'm not watching is a woman or director or female or male director at the beginning. First, the film, and then this is nice that was done for a woman. And there are some films that basically are you see that were done by a woman, but when you talk about war, it's the perspective of a woman of a boy. Sometimes the same because it's after your families, your roots, or maybe. It's difficult for me sometimes to see, this is done by a woman or by a man. But for me right now, if in quality, I am very more to give the word to the people who cannot, so who don't have it. And then in Latin America, it's very hard. When I told my friends that racism there is much more heavy than here.
And in which way, which parts of the society are treated not equally?
I mean, a black person in Latin America or in the whole America, it's always they have the less choices. If it's approaching me in Latin American street, I will be afraid because they teach us, hey, maybe he's a bad boy.
Still today.
And then it's in our blood, and it's very difficult to put out the idea that no, we are, but people is struggle to in Latin America. The economic situation is so bad that everybody is taking advantage in the illegal ways. But in my job, I try to give voices to Bolivia or to Ecuador. So I mean, so many films that are not from there. People don't know they have amazing cinema. So I try to bring them here too. I try to, because there are so many films in Argentina. I know that somebody will bring them. But there is one big film, Chaco, right now from Bolivia. I say, okay, I have to bring it. Because it's not so easy to bring art or cinema here. So that is more or less giving the voice in my projects to these countries or societies that they don't have the voice easily here.
So that's kind of your sign of empowerment also to bring those artists and those filmmakers to Europe and to invite them to your festival?
Exactly. More or less, let's say like this. I mean, it's not that easy because Lakino is a very independent project.
Yeah, maybe you can explain also for our listeners and our viewers what is Lakino all about? Because you have 3 different parts, right?
So Lakino is a main idea that began with film projects 10 years ago, but Lakino during the last 10 years became like an institution that promotes cinema, promotes music, and promotes art. Because we make 2 film festivals per year, short film festivals in April that were cancelled this year, and feature films in November that also was cancelled. And we try to bring as many bands that to Europe that wanna tour and so on. And from every 4 or 5 years, with my friends, we try to organize art exhibition for an important topic that's happening or that's important to reflect in balance. So we have these 3 different departments.
So it's art, it's music, and it's film.
And it's art, music, and film. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and yes, more I cannot. It's too much. Less is more.
Okay. Yeah, of course. But 3 is already like good. I would just have a quick look because our listeners and viewers, they also have the possibility to ask us questions. So I will have a short look if we have any questions yet. Yeah, there's one question. And it says, Martin, why is it so hard to take care of gender equality when doing a film festival or booking a band?
Why?
Is it hard to be aware of gender equality?
In a film festival?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm not aware. I know all the projects that are happening in right now in Latin America, from the script until the final end. And I try to bring them as much as I can. And in my program, you will see, maybe I just create 20 films maybe, and maybe the 40% are from women, because they have good projects, because the project is good to bring to Berlin. And also the short filmmakers, we create around 100 short films, and a very big percent are females in that. But it is true that most are male directors until now. So because they were always film directors, and since I know, I don't knew in the 70s so many females directors, maybe 2 or 3. But right now it's happening. Right now it's happening, and I know that I can bring from Antonella from Costa Rica, her films or Megas here. I can know from the guy Calvache from Ecuador here. I know the directors, and I try to bring them. And then also it's not that easy, because the films doesn't belong to them, and then I have to pay for the rights, and sometimes the rights belongs to the big company. You say, Martin, I want 1,000 euros for that film. I say, sorry, I cannot pay that. This is not in my budget, because we are independent, and then it's, so next film, okay, and it's male or female, I have my list of films, and I try to deal to bring them here. It's not that easy.
I wrote a quote from you where you said, where is it? Where you said, some people have fast cars, but I have my film festival. So just because you said that you are independent. And where does this fascination comes from, and what motivates you to do this?
I mean, I make art since I have 15, 16 years old from theater. I never have done anything besides. I try to work even for my friends in the bars and so on, but I have no time. I was always working with theater and dance, and when I come here also I was working with films and so on. And yeah, and when I say some people have cars, fast cars, and I have my festival, because yeah, with the money I invest in this art project that's independent, I could buy a car, but no, I prefer to have a project that I could bring to Berlin that is important for Germany. You have to have it, and yeah, and I'm happy for that. So yeah, and my fascination for art is almost 35 years doing this. So I don't think I will change my language or my appreciation for art. I'm always going to galleries or cinemas, festivals, looking for my food.
Oh wow, that sounds great. And coming back to the topic of equality, how equally do you perceive the film world in South America? The film industry. Because if you look at other mainstream like film awards, it's yeah, behind the scenes. If you look at other very like stereotypic roles, it's clear that there's a yeah, that is not equal yet.
Yeah, I understand completely what you mean. Yeah, and also the first thing I have to give applause to all the female movements into cinema industry in each country, because there was always the role of the director, and as you see, there was this Epstein Me Too story, you know, but it's happening in all the countries. Men misuse their environment of power, basically to do things that were not correct with women, you know? And we have to give applause to every country that women are talking. In Peru, in Colombia, the Red Sisters are called the Red Sisters in Peru. There's also a movement about in Argentina, in Chile. It's the first thing we have to, like as a man, we have to say, hey, reflect what we have done, and let's give them the chance, and then behave. Right now, let's behave. This is the first thing. Like I have to applaud. and in the industry, there's many women in the industry, but the thing is, when I say, okay, you have it's how to bring your idea from idea to a fact, to a film, because the shooting is not so, costs a lot of money. I mean, it will cost your money you have to save. And there's not so much money inside Latin America, maybe Mexico, Brazil, they used to have really nice funds, or Argentina, but they don't have any more, they are cutting. So it's very difficult. So sometimes they give the money to the very well-known ideas, or to the good ideas. And I see when you see Lucrezia Martelli, she's already having always nice projects, and then she finds her way. And yeah, filmmakers, male filmmakers, they find their ways, and female filmmakers are finding their way. And the first thing they are doing, hey, we are here, we are not anymore assistants, producers, or coffee. We are also directors, and respect us. And don't abuse your position as a director or as a famous actor, because they were misusing the system, the art system. Well, and yeah, and in music also the same happens with some bands. They were at so many complainings, and some bands sadly disappear, or they are off right now. But we have to be aware or reflect about this the whole time. So I have two children, they are girls, and also I try to teach them they have the same choices like as a man, and also they can play also with cars. I mean, I like to play with dolls too. I mean, the whole time there's not a conflict in myself here about this.
I think that's a really very important point, what you just mentioned, that it depends a lot the way how we are raised, and the way how parents are like, teaching us and showing us a perception of equality.
Yes, you can give them to your child all the elements of, but you never know, because we are unique. We will have our own conflicts in the future. My children, they will have their own conflicts in the future, and they will do with all the things I teach them. They will do what they want. So if they want to be mean, I cannot do nothing against that. I mean, because they want to be, I don't know. So you cannot control that. After my daughter, she will be soon 18, and she will build her own path. She will look in the back, she will look, okay, this is my parent and so on, this is my future, but she will build her own character, her own. I have to be aware that if in some moment she's falling down, I have to be close to her, but sometimes we also hide these things. So, difficult. It's a very difficult topic for me to say, okay, I can teach as much as I can, but after a moment, everything will be under control, or not in my control. It's your control. Right now, it's your ball, and I have to be close if something happens always.
Well, yeah, maybe that's also the hardest part of being a parent.
Yeah, nobody in the school teach us to be parents. I mean, there's not education to be parents. That's basically, look, we have children or we are parents.
But what I also like, I've been watching in a lot of other relationships with a lot of friends of mine, that this like stereotypical role models, also in very modern Berlin relationships, that it's still this way that from the women are more housework and educational stuff like expected. Do you also perceive it this way? And if so, is there also a cultural difference between Latin America and Europe in this way?
I mean, this is an image we have always. I was never close to that image of society, because I have, since I'm a child or 16, when I was dancer with women, they were in the ballet dancers. They want to be ballet dancers. They would have to fight a lot, or basically other artists. They were close to me and say we were in the table having some beers, exchanging ideas, and then I saw them creating. I never saw my female friends. I want to be a housewife also. And also when I saw my mama have a spaghetti kiosk, and then from I have 5 until now she have it, and this is her position, and she never also wanted to be a housewife also.
Is your mama living in Lima?
In Lima, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
And I'm also here. If I see, I see my friends producing. I mean, because I am very close to friends, people who's very creative, and yeah. Maybe in the dating time, in my dating time, where there was a woman, yeah, I want to be a housewife. I never, but I never was close to that idea of that woman have to be. My daughters right now, she's thinking to be juristic, to be lawyer and something. And that's okay. You have my whole support.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Cool.
But in Latin America, the stereotypes are there always. A man, I mean, there is this narco idea of the woman, so to be the woman of a narco trafficant, and then a narco trafficant is coming to your town, is choosing the girls, and we give you money to operate your tits and your ass. And that's basically this narco trafficant culture that's from the time, and then until now it's happening there. There's women, they want to escape maybe from that society, the small town bills, or maybe the bad boy is the solution. And the bad boy means you have to be with a bad boy. There's not so much bad girls. There was in Colombia, if you're talking about narco-trafficking culture, there was this big woman, the godmother, and so there's also a film about her, but there's only one beside that, other big boys.
Ah, okay. And how is it, for example, in Latin American rap music? Are there a lot of female young rappers as they are here in Europe and in Germany in particular?
There is. You know that Anna Tijoux was one of the first I hear when I was younger. In my country, I saw even trans people doing hip hop and rap music and so on. And also, Latin America has so many languages. It's many languages. Not only Spanish is basically the official language, but I hear from Cusco in Quechua. I'm also listening with other language from Mexico, and yeah. But I see there is difficult, but because it's still in work in progress. They are growing, but they will have a voice. It's not like in the States, the big boys there. They are going to. They have this because we have this. We always look to the north, what they're doing in the north. So, and they are basically looking for their spaces. And it's not that easy, but they are having their spaces.
You just mentioned the LGBTIQA+ community. I just know that, for example, in Brazil, there are a lot of like very empowering examples for all kind of artists of diverse gender identities. How do you perceive this situation over there for people with diverse gender identities in the art scene in Latin America?
Like all these changes in this time, they are looking for their space. It's not that easy when you go to Brazil. You just mentioned having that president. I mean, this president is basically the other side of basically fighting against the system. Being in this, he's fighting against indigenous. He's fighting against all this LGBTQ movement. He's fighting against all these nice things that should happen in Latin America. You see the same in Chile. You see the same in Peru sometimes. So you see the same in Mexico. So it's not that easy. They're looking for the space. They are having solidarity between all of them too. But with those presidents, and then when they basically, it's not that easy to talk and have a position there. Being indigenous, being trans-indigenous, being black trans-indigenous, and it's not that easy. And the president is basically the person who will facilitate all these kind of things. And then, but maybe in Argentina once they were, but it's difficult.
All right. Martin, we are already at the end of our conversation. Time was flying with you.
It's a pleasure always to talk.
It was a really big pleasure. Do you have any like empowering statement for the end. What's your best vision for the future that we can dream of right now?
The future is very, very far. I mean, maybe 300 years, 400 years, something will happen in Latin America. It's not that easy to fight against all that corruption that is there since the last 100 years, 200 years, and it's not that easy to put all these racism out of Latin America because between us we are being racist. Even it's not that easy because it's an economic thing, and the economic is related to corruption. But I am very happy that basically I have to give applause to all the movements that's happening there because I'm not part. I am here. I'm in other position, but I'm looking out then and then. I said, let's keep fighting. I'm also restarting because in some the movements, and then you see when you begin a movement in Lima, you say, okay, I have to bring also the movement from the highlands or from the rainforest. Or if you are from the big capital, I have to bring also the other movement from the other small villages that also are the more forgetting village. So it's not that easy, but I'm very positive about what will happen in the next 200 years. I will not be here, but I mean, it's very positive what is coming from.
Cool. At least it's positive.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter when it's in 200 years or no.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. It's not from one moment to the other. I'm very happy having all this gender right now about what's women in the film industry, in the art industry, in the music industry, and so on. I'm very happy. It's a big step, really big step, but it's not that easy. You cannot put this chip on a society from one day to another. We have to fight, and we have to give them voice and expose them as much as we can.
So we have to fight for the good. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Martin. Now I'm already looking very forward for my next guest. I already see her with one eye. She's ready. So, Martin, leave the stage for Melissa, my next guest, who is coming in 1 minute. Ah, perfect. You have already your microphone on.
Already here.
Oh, super.
Hi.
Wow. Hello. I didn't have the time to say the big hello words for you.
Oh no, should I leave again?
No, that's absolutely cool. There's one thing that I absolutely have to say to our audience about Melissa, because Melissa, she's not only the YouTube girl from Breeding Unicorns that we all know, and she's not only the fashion designer from Mademoiselle Opossum. She is so much more. And what else? This is what we are going to find out right now.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, first of all, compliments for this amazing outfit.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give it back to you. Nice glitter boots, and yeah, you are always dressed really colorful.
Thank you, thank you.
Which is a rare sight in Berlin.
Yeah, that's so important. That's so
Yeah.
important. I think glitzer and sparkle, they are made for the sunlight, because then, yeah, the effect is much bigger. And even when we can't go out to clubs anymore, we have to wear our glitter suits during the day.
Yeah, definitely at home.
Yeah.
Fighting for more glitter pajamas.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, cool. I think we are already on the same vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. And yeah, fashion. Would you say that fashion is your passion?
Definitely. Yeah, it's always whatever I do, I always come back to fashion, and it's yeah, still the biggest project in my heart.
And where does it come from?
I have no idea, to be honest. I just like expressing myself. You know, when people always say, "Ah, yeah, I just want attention," and blah blah blah, stupid stuff like this, I'm always like, no, I also dress up at home for nobody. And yeah, I think it's a form of art.
Yeah, and you can skip into so many different roles as well,
Yeah.
right?
And you can always show off your mood. I'm more in a 16-year-old gothic phase right now, or I feel like, I don't know, more rainbowish today. Stuff like this.
Yeah, and even when you don't feel well, this is what I sometimes do. When I don't feel well, I put on my brightest clothes, and
Yeah.
then this is making me feel better.
Definitely. you always act like the way you dress in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
I also met a guy who said whenever I don't feel really professional, I feel down or I'm hungover, I put on a white shirt and I feel so much more professional. And I think, yeah, maybe if it helps, just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's cool. That's perfect. And how equally do you perceive the fashion world? Is it a woman-dominated scene just because there's so many females in it?
No way. When you look at all the big designers, it's mostly males. It's always men doing fashion for women, which is kind of weird from my perspective. So the women in fashion are mostly models or, you know, the people who buy it. But yeah, I mean, you have Anna Wintour, who's like the badass queen of the Vogue. But yeah, when it comes to designers, it's still difficult. Like with artists, people creating art, it's also men who do it and who get paid more and stuff like this. And it's the same in fashion.
And do you have an answer what we could do to empower more women in the fashion industry?
Buy from them. Don't go to H&M, don't go to Primark. Or if you do it, that's fine, but maybe every 10th piece you buy it from a small designer that might be a transgender person or a woman or I don't know, someone around your corner.
And is there something empowering that you can recommend to young upcoming female designers or female fashion industry professionals?
Fight, fight, fight. Don't give up. When I started out, it was so exhausting. I had 3 different jobs. I didn't earn any money. It was such a designer start shit show. Seriously. And yeah, but you have to fight. And if it's really your dream to create something people wear on the streets, and yeah, just don't feel down. Don't feel you are not worth it. Keep your prices. When you feel this piece is worth 400 euro, then stick to it. Someday someone will come and pay 400 euro for it because they instantly fall in love. And know your worth, get creative and connect with creative people. Connect with other women who support you and yeah, share the same dream.
Did you have kind of a mentor or support from, I don't know, family, friends, other fashion professionals?
I have a lot of super cool friends who were always like supporting me, helping with fashion shows. Up to this day, I don't hire super professional models. I always look around for friends or people on the streets, people in different sizes and shapes. I also had a older woman. She was 72 for one fashion show because I thought it would be really cool, and she slayed on the runway. The whole crowd was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was super cool. And yeah, also the plus size girls are also super cool, and I like this whole body positivity empowerment that's going on. That's why we also have large sizes.
But in your fashion collection, every piece is a unique handmade piece, right?
When we have the collections, it's always handmade single stuff, but we also have like stock in the shop or in the online shop you can order. These are also made by hand, but you can pre-order or just say, hey, can I get this in pink with glitter? And then we can do it.
Ah, cool. And another very empowering fact that I like so much about you are all these DIY stuff, because like this, you're also empowering everyone to do it by themselves, and also the ones who are not as talented maybe as you or don't have the time or whatever, you give them the possibility to buy it. Yeah, how did you come up with all this DIY stuff?
I started this YouTube channel, and I was thinking about, okay, I have to produce content every week, kind of forever. And I thought, okay, what is the topic I can talk about for ages and keep on the content without getting bored myself? And I thought, okay, inspiring people would be nice, and taking them on a journey with crafting and teaching them how to do stuff. And yeah, that's just what happened.
And this is what brought you also to be a moderator and to be also hosting MTV.
Yes.
And as you know, our equality talk is always going to be also about equality in music. And how did you perceive this, and with all the interviews that you did, the equality factor of the German music scene?
Super weird for me, to be honest, because MTV is mainstream, or at least German MTV was really mainstream. We had all these German hip-hop guys who were constantly talking about their bitches and stupid shit like this. And whenever I asked them, would you talk like this to your mom? They would always say, no. So why you are talking about other women like this? And yeah, I think it's also a music industry problem, especially in Germany, that women are only doing singer-songwriter stuff, or dancing in the background. It's not being on the front, being loud, and being also being a rock star, or acting like Cardi B. This is my ass, these are my tits, I'm getting undressed not for you, for myself, because look at them, they are fucking nice. And that's what it's about, and this kind of spirit is kind of rare in Germany. And I'm really looking forward to see more strong girls in the next generation. I mean, if you look at girls, you know, this one band, what was it called? Sixten? They were kind of outgoing, not my kind of music, not my kind of style, but I still support in a way.
Yeah, totally. And I think there are a lot of young, especially in rap music, females coming, and we have to support and empower them.
Yeah, get it, girls.
Get it. But what about the equality factor of Kawaii? Because when I looked it up, what is Kawaii all about? The explanation, I lost myself in the card. But Kawaii originally means the Japanese expression for lovable, sweet, cute, childlike, or attractive. So very stereotypic attributes. And how is the equality factor?
Actually, when it comes to J fashion and Kawaii fashion and this whole movement, it's way ahead of other subcultures, because gender was always fluid when it comes to Kawaii. So are you female? Are you male? Are you in the middle? Are you an alien from outer space without any gender? It never matters to these people. Whenever I looked on the streets in Japan, guys wearing skirts, putting on glitter, whatever, it was never a thing. So
but is it really that you see that these people are very present on the streets of Japan?
No, it's the super subculture. So sometimes on the weekend, when you go to a certain district, it's called Harajuku here. You can see them on the streets, but most of the stuff is happening on Instagram.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Kawaii scene is also very open to LGBTIQ+.
Yeah, definitely. It's super open, and everyone's welcome. And I think it's because you're already a misfit of society. Even though you look cute, you are still outstanding. And I also had this hardcore gothic phase when I was around 16. I shaved my head and wearing black and leather and shit. But people are used to seeing punks and gothic people on the streets. But people are not used to seeing pastel fairy glittering through the streets. So they are still estranged in a way.
Ah, so it's kind of the glitter punks of the world?
Yeah, definitely. It's I always say Kawaii or die. And it's also a form of my form of feminism and fighting, because I had a lot of discussions with feminism saying, you can't design cute frilly princess dresses and pushing feminism. And I said, that's what it's all about. I can still look like the cutest Disney princess ever, riding on my unicorn and kick your ass. That's what it's about. Doing whatever you like.
Yeah, totally. Wow. Wow, yeah, that's so true. That's
Yeah.
so true.
So we don't have to shave our heads and show off armpit hair. Everyone is fighting in their own way.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the most beautiful way of empowering that everyone can live
Freely.
freely. Yeah,
Yeah.
freedom, freedom and equality. I read that your inspiration also for all this Japanese culture came from your childhood when you watched a lot of Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know how equally do you perceive Sailor Moon?
Yeah, for me this was my first encounter with like sisterhood and not competing with other girls but supporting in a way. And whenever you look at like Disney movies, except from Frozen, because when I was small there was no Frozen, it was always a girl looking for a prince or girls fighting with each other like in Cinderella and stuff like this. But I watched Sailor Moon and these girls were so strong, and they were not only pretty, they were smart, they were fighting, they were fierce, and I was so captured by these images because it was also colorful and fun. These girls they were always having so much fun and fighting by moonlight and yeah, it was all super cool, and I think until this day it aged really good. You can still look at all the episodes and they are still fun and
Do you sometimes do that?
of course. Yeah, I still love Sailor Moon and I still buy merchandise, I still read the books, and yeah, it's still a big inspiration, and I think the Western perspective on sisterhood can definitely learn something from Sailor Moon.
Cool. Yeah, I was watching Mila Superstar when I was a child.
Yeah, she was also kind of strong.
Yeah, yeah, with the sport
Yeah,
perspective.
volleyball and
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, good childhood memories.
Oh.
One other fact of your childhood is your kung fu career, right?
Yeah, I grew up in a martial arts school, and my dad's a martial arts trainer. I mean, my last name is Lee. What else should you do? What's his last name? And yeah, he always was like, when you don't feel treated well, fight for it, and never really start a fight off, but don't take shit. And that's how I was raised, and this is what I try to give back to my community and teach these girls nowadays. Don't take shit. Just stand for yourself. I know it's hard sometimes, and it doesn't make your life easier in a way, but it will definitely make yourself more happy.
Mm-hmm. And your dad is Chinese, right?
Yes.
And your mom is from Berlin.
Yes.
And how did they you already told me that they taught you this empowering facts of life, but how is it generally in Kung Fu? Is it a very equal sport that males as well as or females as well as males can do? Are they also competing against each other, or is there like male and female classes?
I've never seen a mixed competition because the physical condition is different, and but I mean in mixed martial arts I'm sure there are girls and boys competing, women and men, but of course the training is mixed. So if you go to the martial arts school from my dad, you will definitely have to have free fight training with guys and girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the only sport at the Olympics that is mixed with males and females is riding, horse riding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm a horse rider myself, so I know this.
And you competed in the Olympic Games?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, totally. And another thing that you're into, because that's what I love so much about it, you're so diverse in all the aspects. And another aspect is the gaming aspect, right? You're also a gamer girl.
Yeah, actually, I may look like this, but I'm a 50-year-old perverted nerd. in this body. So my friends always say, we are 100% sure if you wear a male, you would still be a virgin. Because I'm mostly at home, watching at anime girls and gaming in front of my PC. Yeah, gaming is...
How much time do you spend gaming every day?
Do I have to say this out loud? I mean, when I have to work or when I have free time? So when I have free time, I would say around 8 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, the whole day. It's a whole working day. Wow.
But this year is the year of the nerds because finally it's a good thing to be in front of your PC and say goodbye to society and just stay at home. And everyone's like, well done.
Okay, at least we hear a good side of the pandemic. Thank
Yeah.
you, Melissa.
Yeah. They're like, that's quarantine. I'm like, that's what I do every day.
Oh, wow, that's cool. But how is it? How is the equality factor of the gaming scene?
Still super fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't want to lie. It's getting better. It's definitely getting better. But if you look at all the esports tournaments, it's mostly guys who do it. And as a gamer girl, you always have to give 110%. There will always be some guys who say, oh, her headshot aim is bad. Even though it isn't, just because she's a girl. Or if you go into a voice chat and you don't play with your friends, they're like, oh, go make me a sandwich. And stuff like, you will hear so much shit. Like, seriously.
But do you give them counter or how do you handle
Of
this?
course.
Okay.
I would like your mom can go make me a sandwich because she should teach you how to play first.
Oh, okay.
No, it's, yeah, I always fight back, but I mostly play with my friends. And
Okay.
yeah.
And what kind of games do you play?
All kind of games. Of course, shooters with my friends because it's fun, and competitive gaming, but I also do really more chill stuff like Animal Crossing, which might be famous and some people knew in the chat. And yesterday, because I fully said goodbye for the next 3 months from society, I started playing World of Warcraft again. Yeah, but it's fun, and it's a nice way to spend time with your friends even though you are not in the same room.
Are you also in a gaming collective?
No,
No.
but I sometimes stream on Twitch, and yeah, that's also fun.
Cool. And yeah, I think I can go on talking to you forever about all these very very interesting parts. And one thing I was also recognizing on your homepage were the diversity of video content that you are producing. Also in a very creative ways. All the what I really liked was the video where you mixed surviving and fashion and cooking. I know it was surviving and cooking.
Ah.
And splatter. And where does this come from? Is it also kind of inspired from the gaming part, or?
Yeah, I also like trashy horror movies and zombies, vampires, weird art house Japanese horror from the 80s, and I think this whole apocalypse setting was so interesting to me. I mean, it's not anymore because it's happening, and it's not as much fun as I thought.
But you're still having the best part in staying at home playing your video games?
Definitely. And yeah, I just think about all these apocalypse scenarios and how would people deal with it? Will the world really fall apart, or will humans be able to get over it? And I mean, look outside, we are still trying to get over it, but there are still so much super crazy people that are not even able to wear their mask. I mean...
And not able to wear the mask correctly.
Yeah, and correctly. And when this whole mask thing came up, the whole Japanese community, and especially in Germany, was like, finally, we can wear them outside and it's not weird. And all people were like, oh my god, where do we get the mask? And all the kawaii fashion people were like, I have 10 already with cute cat faces or glitter or whatever. And yeah, so I spent so much time in Japan, and I think even after this pandemic, it would be a good thing to wear a mask when you are sick or just regularly in winter in the train. It helps people so much. I haven't been sick for the last year.
Because you're always wearing a mask whenever you feel it's...
Yeah, and also because everyone else is wearing a mask.
Ah, of course.
And people washing their hands.
But these are all things that were already normal in
Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah, for years. For, I don't know, 20, 30 years or even more.
Yeah.
And they are still alive.
Yeah, maybe it would be a good thing to just keep it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too. So yeah, all these zombie things are maybe from a longing for a world where you can take more action, especially as a girl.
Did you go on any festivals or concerts this summer with all the new restrictions?
No.
No.
My last concert was in January for baby metal. This was so much fun, and no, I've seen a few things online. Porter Robinson, for example, did this super cool online thing, but I didn't go to any festival because I thought I should leave this to people who are really longing for social interacting and for loud music and dancing. And yeah, as I already said, I'm super chill with staying at home and staying at home.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Melissa, thank you so much. I think I also with you the time was flying. Yeah. And thank you so much for showing us so many different aspects and so many different equality factors.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and maybe we can also promote a little bit our upcoming, or is it too early?
No.
Okay.
Spill the beans.
Yeah, okay. Because as you might know, we at Music is Your Passion, we are doing every month a little a focus, and together with Melissa, we are going to focus on Japanese music. And this is how we are going to start the next year.
Yay.
So everyone can already be very much looking forward to it.
Yes, I think all the links are in the description.
Yes.
Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, follow on Instagram and Twitter.
Yes. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. And my next guest is already ready. No, that's no problem, because I didn't really had a look during my last conversation about the questions, because as you might have recognized, we also have this little Q&A post on our Instagram site, and there are some questions that I can answer right now. That's a very easy one. How do you choose the guests for your equality talks? Actually, we are trying to make our equality talks as diverse and as inclusive and as equal as possible. So I think this equality talk is kind of the best example for it, how equal and how diverse equality talk can be. And yeah, it's like all these thoughts that you should have in every decision when you're doing a project. Just be aware of equality and inclusivity, and then nothing can go wrong. Yeah, my next guest is already ready, and I'm really very much looking forward to it, because he expressed his art in so many different ways. He is taking photos since 2003, and he documented all the life, all the love and all the change that we've lived through in the wonderful city of Berlin. In 2011, he started with oil on canvas, And yeah, with his alter ego, Master Patrick, he became a Berlin club legend, I think forever. And yeah, I already see the golden mask in his hand that he also brought to us. And so, Patrick, the stage is yours.
Hello, Mia.
Hello.
Oh, you look fabulous.
Oh, you too.
Amazing.
And yeah, it's a perfect match.
I take the mask off now.
Yeah, thank you. I really like the golden mask. I need one of those too.
That's
Yeah.
from Miss Christopher Street Day 2019. She made it by hand. Gave it to me as present, and she said, that's for you. It fits for your golden mask.
Wow. Wow. And the golden mask, this is the golden famous mask that you're also wearing when you're doing your paintings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to have something to express myself, like Salvador Dali with the moustache. I thought, okay, I take the golden mask.
Yeah, I really like it. It must look beautiful on you.
Yeah, and we fit perfect together, actually. You love
Yeah.
gold as much as I do, obviously.
Yeah, I love gold. I love gold. I think everything that's glittering should be gold. So
I think
Yeah.
it's okay to be glamorous, to live fabulous, to have a good life, to be optimistic. I think especially in those difficult times, it's important to focus on things which makes you happy, even when there are not a lot of things, or it should be. Take those little things you have which make you happy, which makes you glamorous and fabulous and give you a good feeling, focus on them, and then go forward through the next weeks and months, and then you can make it. So I
Exactly.
think that's a good, make the best of the situation, and if it's a little bit more gold, then take it.
Exactly, because sometimes if you can't change the situation, the only thing you can change is how you react with it, and within your reaction you can change the whole situation just for you, and this is what changes it into the positivity.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, thank you for the lovely invitation.
Yeah, of course,
I
of
mean,
course.
in those hard times to get such a spectacular invitation for such a great talk, I think that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very, very thankful that you're here, and that we can talk about equality and all the things that matter in those times. So, how are you? How have you lived through the last weeks and months? And did you have a lot of time to do your paintings?
I mean, I started in 2003 I came to Berlin, and when you come to a new place and you have never been there before, then you are fascinated by a lot of things, wherever you go. And I took that energy to take pictures of all the things I went for the first time in my life. To Brandenburg Gate, I went to the Queen of England, Elizabeth II, when she had her official state visit in 2004. I went to Barack Obama when he was his presidential candidate, and 200,000 people there, and I made it in the first row just to be, I took all that energy, and I photographed about 100 newcomer bands. It was possible that I could reach in there, and in the 0 years there were uncountable clubs. I mean, Berlin was at that time world famous for the creative people, for the music industry. I mean, it still is. Before it was the Love Parade with the techno, and then the people lived in the houses, in those illegal houses. Not illegal, for me it's not illegal, but they lived in those houses. And then in every corner you had a club for live music, and they all closed step by step. I mean, there are not really a lot of clubs anymore. But in those, I photographed it. I made about 140,000 pictures.
130,000.
Yeah, it goes fast, when you are around party scene and everything. And I did portrait photo shootings also. And in the past weeks, I took the time to get them together, and since 2011, I made more than 1,000 paintings, and I thought, okay, now it's the time to get it, to make it done, so you can sortieren, to sort it out a little
That's
bit.
that's a good thing to
That's
use
what it
this
is.
time. Yeah. And you recently also released your book, 10 years.
Yeah, actually it's 10 years, it's next year, but I took the time now and I thought it's a good moment to start with the book. I think that book is really perfect, of course, for everybody who's interested into art, but it's especially perfect for someone who wants to start to paint with oil on canvas. Because I started I had no idea what I do. I started in 2011 from nothing, with no art school, no university. I had good friends, good teachers in private who said to me, okay, Patrick, do this and that. But that was it. So I started from zero with oil on canvas in 2011. And this book, on 189 pages, it explains the steps I took, and to go forward and to grow within it, and that's a great journey.
And what I really like about it is the empowering fact that you're showing everyone that how your journey was and how they can maybe do it by themselves if they're interested in. And because the book, you can see the wonderful paintings, and then you can also see little texts. And did you write the texts at the time, or did you write the text afterwards when everything was ready? Are they like a diary or journal as extracts?
I'm 46 years old now. This means I enjoyed the internet from the very beginning, when it was in a university in the back room and only for some freaks having been there and checking out how the internet works. So I'm addicted to it. When in the 0 years it was MySpace, so I was into MySpace, and when Facebook was new, I was into Facebook. And actually till today I make every day 1 or 2 postings, but I made some years ago 4 to 10 postings every day.
Wow.
So
that's a lot.
And I thought I don't want to do it for that black hole, for that black, and it disappears and never can find it. So every 6 months I go on my Facebook page and I save the postings which are for me. I think, okay, they are good, like a diary, So it was this painting book was fast done, because I just needed to go through my diary and choose some good phrases from the past 10 years and put it together with some paintings from those 1,000 paintings and make a great book, actually.
Okay. I have one quote that I want to read through. With paintings in oil on canvas, I finally feel that I have found my home in my art world. I really like this quote. And I think it also expresses a lot of your artistic journey. And maybe you want to tell us a little bit about that, because you've also been singing in a rock band. You've done so many different things. And tell us more about it.
I mean, I love Berlin. For me, that's the best city in the world. This is why I live here. This is why I came here. And I came here in 2003. I haven't been here before, so I don't know a wall. For me, exists just one Berlin, and all those wall histories are for me just stories. I have no idea what it is. So I love that city. And in the beginning of the 0 years, Berlin was the Mecca in the world, like New York City in the 80s or whatever, or Paris 100 years ago when they put the Eiffel Tower there. So Berlin was the Mecca for creative people from every part. It doesn't matter if you create fashion or make movies or are a painter or a singer or whatever. If you are from Japan, from America, from Australia, from Sweden, it doesn't matter. Everybody who was really interested to work in creative stuff needed to move to Berlin. It was no question. And it was cheap. You could rent every flat. You could choose where to live, and the life was extremely cheap. And I came here with the idea to work, not to come here to party. I mean, some people come here and say, "Oh, let's do a La Parade after show party, you know, for the next 10 years." No, I came here to work in the creative thing and to become an artist. It was my idea, and I came with my camera in my hands, and that's it. I had the camera, and when you are here in Berlin and you go out, seriously, we had about 600 galleries, 600 art galleries every year, 2 or 3 big art festivals with art forum. It was so big. It still is. So you can still do it now and today. When you go there in the creative scene, you meet people. And when you talk, then everyone says, "Oh, let's try do this, and do you want to be part of my music video?" And I said, "Oh, sure." "Oh, do you want to help me with my camera work? Or do you want to come to my exhibition? There are paintings on oil on canvas." So you learn non-stop. And so as I was a performance artist, like with that mask some years ago, and I did this photograph stuff. I mean, I didn't have a band, but I did a show as singer with a band, with my own lyrics, and someone made the music, and I sang a song with a mask, and the audience screamed "Zugabe." What's the English word? I don't know.
We want more.
We want more. I mean, that was really spectacular, because you know, when you are together with 100 bands, I choose some of the best musicians, and I asked them. Actually, at that time, I really wanted to become a singer and a rock star, but what I wanted was too much for what they wanted. Even when they have been genius as musicians, I mean, wow. Yeah. So, and then, one of my best friends here in Berlin from the beginnings, he's a real professional oil on canvas painter. His grandfather is a Maler Fürst, so one of the best painters of Spain. So he grew up from childhood to do that. And when you have a friendship with such a person, and I never thought about it that I would become a painter. But when you are a friend with someone like that, then you always listen to stories. This is important, and you know, like I sit with you here, I was sitting with him in the studio, and he was painting and talked about what he is doing next or whatever. And my dream was always when I did photographs of all those. For me, it's important that the world never forgets the freedom we have in Berlin and we had in Berlin. And that the world remembers that also in 100 years, perhaps 200 years, you have to make it perhaps in oil on canvas. So, you know, it's like we see stuff from 100 years ago, perhaps it fits, it works. I don't know, I will not live anymore in 100 years, but I want that the world will always get remembered of that fantastic Berlin, of that time, of that freedom.
What is freedom for you?
Freedom is having no fear. Freedom is when whatever you want to do, if you are a girl and you want to kiss another girl, and you don't have to have fear. And if you want to make a photo, whatever you want to do, you can. Those clothes, you know, in some countries in that world, they put you in prison with the clothes what we have now. So this is freedom, when you don't even have to think about a second of fear, and can do everything you want to do without harming another person. Mm-hmm. That's freedom.
Wow, that sounds really good.
And we still have it here in Berlin. We still have it.
Yeah.
And I hope we told some wood. I hope we can keep it. So.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you have any like thoughts how we can keep it? The how?
Yeah, it's very simple. We just have to do stuff what we do right now, what you do right now. The thing, what you do with your statements, with your great interview show here, you know, this is what we have to do. We have to fix it and to remind it and to have to show the people, this is the world we are living in here.
Wow.
This is what we have. We don't have to change ourselves.
Cool.
That's
cool.
the thing.
Yeah,
I think that's the right way.
the right way. Okay, we are on the right way. That's a good thing. Yeah, I also had this like awakening more or less where I thought, okay, now it's really time to do this and nothing else. And yeah, this is what ended up here. So yeah, and we are getting back to our topic, the main topic, the equality talk. Because as you told me that you have been photographing about 100 bands. What's your perception of the equality status of music that maybe was before and that is now, and what do you think, are we going into a good direction concerning equality in music?
I mean, equality in music, that we are where we are right now. It's one of the big things is you can't see it, but it's here, it's David Bowie. I think people like him, they made it possible that we can live in a equality in music, in the music world as we do it today. We don't have, Boy George, he needed to say, I'm bisexual, you know. Today no one needs to, when a singer is gay, then I'm gay, no one cares. And when and if two girls wants to kiss on stage, I mean, Madonna, and she did it 10 years ago, I mean, okay, I mean, we don't care anymore. I mean, and I think that's perfect. That's perfect. I mean, if you want to have a song about queers, whatever, then you can do it. You can do everything, and that means that the equality is where we have to fight. It's not here in our country. It's in a country on the other side. Like, you know, in Poland or Russia. I mean, that thing, what's that guy who made it with the rainbow flag in Russia? What's the name of the band, the hardcore band?
Rammstein?
Rammstein. You know, Rammstein in Russia, carrying a rainbow flag and making
and kissing each other.
Also those musicians they are making, and show the Russian musicians or other, this is what we need to do, you know, care for those people who can't help themselves right now. So I think here as everything, of course everything can be better, but for me it's fine as it is here right now. Look on those other countries and other places, help them, help in South America and in Africa, of course, and in Asia. I mean, and it's just here some kilometers away in Poland. You know, I mean, it's not that far away where this topic can put you in hell, in prison. They beat you to death.
Mm. Yeah, they even sell Polish vegetables as regional here in Berlin. So Poland is much closer than other areas here. And I think you just said something very important, because this is also what we at Music is Her Passion are aiming to, because we are or we see ourselves as an international movement, because this is exactly what we have to do these conversations and to talk to as many artists as possible of how they are feeling and of what they're into right now. And for example, part of our team, they are also, for example, coming from Russia. That's why we are connected to them already, or we're trying to do as much as we can from our perspective. And what I always recognize in conducting all those interviews is that overall it's now I don't want to say it's always the same, but there is music as this international language that is spoken and understood by our hearts, and that is exactly, yeah, giving people in countries where the situation is not as good as here the right perspectives and the right signs to continue and to say, hey, we are there, and yeah, we can go on for the good. Do you have kind of, I don't know, a secret or a recommendation, or what do you think that every one of us here can do for other people around the world?
Google Google Victoria Woodhull-Cleveland. Victoria Woodhull-Cleveland is the first female presidential candidate in America. It's not Hillary Clinton. It's the first. It was Victoria Woodhull-Cleveland. It was about 120 years ago. Her nephew was my partner for 7 years, so I noticed the story a little bit. America was not like that as it is right now. 120 years ago, the first female presidential candidate of America, she stood for free love. I mean, impossible to say it today, but a woman said, it's okay when a woman has several men. This was a situation 120 years ago in America. And her sister was Tennessee Cleveland, the first female, the first woman on Wall Street. So you can learn her at school. But what I want to say is that times can change. And they didn't mention that name Victoria Woodhull-Cleveland when Hillary Clinton was there, because they couldn't tell the people in America and the world that there was another time 120 years ago. Normally at the presidential candidates of Hillary Clinton, they should have mentioned the name Victoria Woodhull-Cleveland non-stop, up and down, up and down. This was the first woman. Hillary is the second. But nothing, because it was not possible to tell it to people what time, what things have been possible in America 120 years ago. So that's it. That's one inspiration. When you're a woman, you can also become presidential candidate and could stand for free love because someone did it already.
Someone did it already, and we should definitely continue this path, because if you just think about the fact that within 100 years, there were just one other female candidate, it's also saying a lot, I would say. Yeah, and that's also something that I was recognizing a lot, that as we at Music is a Passion see it as, or as a lot of other people also see it as, music is the mirror to our society, because what you can see in the music industry with all these white old men dominances, you also see in other parts of our society. And the good thing about music is that within doing something joyful, also every music consumer can do something for the better change. So this is what I like and what I try to do in a lot of different formats to make people think and get this awareness, because I think that's so important, that we all have this awareness for equality and for all these topics. I'm already having a look at my iPad, which is telling me the time, because there are just 2 more minutes left. Like, I don't know how it was for you guys out there, but for me, the last 1.5 hours, they were really flying. Yeah, but they told me that we should stop in at 12:55, so just to... 58. Oh, we have a new information. That's great. I was programmed on 55, so and I'm always very aware of holding the timing. So I think we have time for another question. I don't know. When we were doing the conversation before, I thought, fuck, I didn't ask you about Master Patrick, because I think the sign that you were setting within this figure and the meaning that it had for you, or that it still has, and wearing a mask, it was so strong to me when you told me about the first time. So maybe we can use the time, and maybe you can also tell our listeners what your intention was in wearing a mask and doing what you did when you were Master Patrick.
That's a long story.
A long story
That's a
short.
long story.
I know.
Make a long story short. I would like to mention. I will give you the answer because it's really a long story. Why it became so that mask. I have one thing which I want to say to the German listeners. A very important thing. Take care of it. Take care about it. When you have, I'm in contact with very powerful women who are fighting for female rights, also in Germany, and they told me, and they have right. When you, sagt MusikerInnen, ihr müsst dieses Innen verwenden, nicht Beamte, BeamtInnen, MusikerInnen. Das ist so wichtig. It's so important in the German phrase to use that which is existing since some years, that male-female version in one word. Use it. You have to use it. Don't be lazy and say, oh, there are some musiker coming there, or no, there are MusikerInnen. Say it, and then we can make it. Very important.
Yeah.
It's more important than the mask story.
Okay, I totally agree. Thank you for taking over to that so important topic, because what caught my attention is that there are no rules in gendering in German, and it's different in every languages. For example, in Spanish, in Argentina, you have this movement of the young wild Argentinians who are starting to gender and who are like right now creating a whole new language, and this is also what we here have to do, because I think the problem is that there are no rules. There are no rules in spelling. If you're writing something like the autocorrect system is always making it wrong, and it's something that, yeah, you don't have any rules. And for example, we also say GästInnen, and oh my God, there were so many people explaining about that how we were expressing ourselves, and yeah, I think it's a very important topic, and also here the thing is that we have to become aware of. So awareness is very important, and what I am aware of is that I'm very, very grateful for my wonderful team that made this possible. Not only the wonderful guests that joined me here on my home stage, also the great production team here, the great support from Berlin's Neue Kinder, who offered us all the equipment, and yeah, all the Music is Her Passion Society team. I'm really very proud to have such wonderful people in my life and joining us in doing this wonderful movement towards equality empowerment. Thank you so much for watching and listening.